Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see from the title down below, I will be talking about my college entrance test experience here in the Philippines and how I got into universities abroad. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't already. Click that notification bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and of course, give this video a thumbs up. First, I'll be talking about my college entrance test experience here in the Philippines. So just a little background, I passed DLSU, UST, and UANP. And as far as I can remember, DLSU and UST have English, Math, and Science, while UANP has English, Math, and an essay. Another thing, I actually didn't go to any review center, and my review was basically just looking at my old notes from the previous grades and relying on stock knowledge or asking friends for help to tutor me basically. But yeah, that was pretty much the extent of my review. So going to the English part, I suggest that when it's the reading comprehension, try to read the whole story first and understand it. Don't go to the questions immediately without looking at the story first and just looking for the answer in the story, because it can get really confusing and it can also be time consuming since you wouldn't know where to look in the part of the story. Another suggestion, that if it's the vocabulary or grammar part and you're not sure which word fits best, try to read the whole sentence and just add the words one by one and see which sounds right, basically, because you'll know if something sounds off in a sentence. Another suggestion while answering is don't rush, because it's not a race. It's not who finishes first will get into the university. No, just take your time, actually read each question, understand each question before answering. But at the same time, don't be too slow. Don't spend like 5 minutes on just one question. If you're not sure, just skip and get back to it later. Or if you actually don't know the answer or you're sure that you can't get it right, then at least guess. That's another suggestion. Guess, because instead of just leaving it blank, because at least if you guess, you'll have a 20 to 25% chance of getting it right. It depends on how many choices you have, but at least you'll still have a few percent chance to get it right instead of just leaving it blank, which is already like wrong. Another thing is that when you're guessing, I actually got this from upperclassmen or people from the upper batch. When you're guessing, the answer is usually C. I don't know, but like they were telling me that, oh, if you need to guess, just answer C. So that's what I did. And there's actually this joke that it's like C for Christ or something. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it works. Maybe it does because I got in, but don't quote me on that. I'm just saying. For the math part now, honestly, I'm not good in math. I've never been good in math. But if you just understand what you've learned in your previous years, then I'm pretty sure you can at least answer some of the questions. But if you're not sure on your ability with answering math questions, then I suggest you take review courses or at least ask your friends for help to tutor you before the test. Next, I'll be talking about the universities that I got into in Australia. And these are University of New South Wales, Macquarie University, University of Sydney / Trinity College. I'll get to the / later. Anyway, my first tip is to research on the universities, because since it's in another country, they require something else from the applicants, or they require like the SATs or maybe TOEFL or IELTS. Just research on it so you know what you have to prepare when you're applying. So the universities I applied to relied on my year 11 and year 12 grades. So I suggest that if your year 11 grades aren't that good, then try to pull up your grades by year 12, because they like to see your grades excel and not get worse, obviously. So, but if you have straight A's, then maintain it. Don't go from an A+ to an A-, because they'll see that, and that's actually what they're looking at if your grades go up. So let's say if you were a B- in term 1, but then you got a B in term 2, then there's a higher chance that you'll get in, because they're looking at that, like your grades going up. But if you have straight A's, then just, maintain it. Good for you. Next is apply early. I don't know, but I didn't need to apply till like March or April, but I applied in December, and I don't necessarily know if it gave me an edge, but I don't know, I guess applying early also lessen the stress, so because I didn't have to think about it throughout the school year or something. Another thing is that some universities require SATs, TOEFL, or IELTS. My university specifically didn't, but I could have submitted my SAT scores, but they mostly looked at my grade 12 grades. Also, if English isn't your first language, then you do need to submit your TOEFL and IELTS score, but since English is my first language, they didn't need it. But I have a friend who is going to a university in Melbourne, and even if English is her first language, they still required her to take the IELTS. So again, it depends on the university. That's why you need to research about your university, so you know what you have to do or what you have to take to submit, or like what you have to submit. Going back to the slash in University of Sydney and Trinity College, basically, Australia doesn't recognize the Philippines' grade 12 as grade 12. They recognize it as year 11. So there's a possibility that they'll accept you, but they'll require you to take a foundation course. Basically, the foundation course is for a year, and it's just to better prepare you for the curriculum of Australia since it is different. So I got accepted into University of Sydney, but I had to take a foundation course in Trinity College first because they're like sister schools, basically. So it's just an extra year, but as soon as you finish your foundation course and you reach the requirement, then you can immediately go to your top course or the course that you like in the university you originally applied for. Now I'll talk about the scholarships that I received. So I received the scholarship from University of New South Wales and Macquarie University. So first of all, in Australia, you don't have to apply for the scholarship. They give you a scholarship if they see fit to give you a scholarship, or if you basically if your grades reach the requirement to get the scholarship. So I didn't apply for a scholarship. I was just shocked that when I got the letter of offer, it came with a scholarship. So my grades were straight A's and A pluses. I didn't have A minus. So that got me the highest scholarship that they offer international students in UNSW. But it's not a full scholarship. It's not even like a partial scholarship. It's just it's a given amount that they deduct from your tuition every year. So yeah. The Macquarie University scholarship, on the other hand, it's not actually relied on your grades. They give this scholarship called like the ASEAN scholarship to all the countries that are part of ASEAN, and it's actually a good thing because it's a big amount of your tuition fee. Lastly, I'll be talking about the university that I got into in Canada, which is the University of Toronto. So just like the Australian universities, they rely heavily on your year 11 and year 12 grades. So same suggestions: if your year 11 grades aren't that high, try to pull it up as much as you can in year 12, or maintain straight A's if you already have straight A's. The difference though is that they don't require your SAT scores. So again, just the year 11 and year 12 grades. Also, the difference from Australian universities, they actually also rely heavily on your extracurriculars and awards. So there's a whole separate page when you're applying, and you just have to fill it out with your extracurriculars. So if you're into varsity, clubs, or volunteering, then put everything, like as much as you can, because they also look at that. When I was filling out my application for University of Toronto, I put like 20 plus stuff for the extracurriculars because I knew that they also relied heavily on that. So again, do your research. And yeah, they also rely on your awards. So the awards that you received in school, or even awards that you received outside of school, if it's sports or if it's your hobby and then you got an award for that, I don't know. But yeah, just put everything, as much as you can, basically. Just like Australian universities, they also require TOEFL and IELTS if English or French is not your first language. But again, since English is my first language, I didn't have to submit it. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope the tips that I gave or the suggestions that I gave will help you out when you're applying for universities. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't already. Click that notification bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. See you guys next week. Bye!